NCIS first started back in 2003 and is one of the longest-running shows of all time. During its 19-year-long run, the show has had some pretty crazy scenes that went a little too far. In this video, we're going to go over 11 of the craziest scenes all throughout the show. First, we have the scene when Delilah almost died. One of the craziest scenes was during the 11th season of the show. In episode 12, called Kill Chain, the NCIS team was looking for a stolen drone that a terrorist organization was trying to use in their favor. The leader of the Brotherhood, Benham Parsa, was about to use drones to send bombs to the Conrad Gala. While the NCIS team tried their best to stop Benham Parsa, he managed to run away from them. Both Delilah and Timothy were at the Conrad Gala when the terrorist organization dropped the bomb on the building. Fortunately for Timothy, he was actually outside when the bomb exploded. However, Delilah was inside and was struck by shrapnel. After that, she was rushed to the hospital where she almost died, but ended up surviving. But she got long-term injuries after the accident, which took away her ability to walk. While she ended up staying in a wheelchair, she and Timothy ended up getting married and had kids. So at least she had a happy ending. Next up, the risky stunt scene Cote de Pablo had to perform. During a pretty dangerous scene in season 16 of NCIS, Cote de Pablo revealed that she actually got injured pretty badly. She said the whole scene was like a war zone, and then she was definitely not ready for it. The scene was a fight in a kitchen, so Pablo was literally hit by a flying cabbage. She said that the cabbage caused bruises all over her body, and she even woke up in severe neck pain. Apparently, the actors hadn't rehearsed that scene before, so they literally had no idea what to expect. Fans were really shocked by this and criticized the showrunners for not taking the actors' safety into consideration. Now, we have the scene where Eli and Jackie die. Being an NCIS agent can make your life extremely dangerous, but sometimes it can endanger the lives of your loved ones too. This is exactly what happened to Ziva. While she was on an undercover mission, her dad, Eli, reached out to her and told her that he wants to make amends with her after their rough start. While Ziva was a bit skeptical at first, she ended up having lunch with him anyway. Their relationship begins to repair once they start spending some time together. But at the end of the episode, Ziva finds out that her father accidentally killed a reporter. After this, she gets furious, but decides to have one last dinner with him anyway. During dinner, she gets a call and leaves the table. Then suddenly, a man breaks into their house and starts shooting. While Ziva and Gibbs, who rushed to the scene, managed to stop the shooting, Eli and his wife Jackie ended up getting shot. Eli died on the spot, while Jackie was rushed to the hospital, but even she died from her injuries later. Up next, when Caitlin Todd died, one of the most shocking things that ever happened in NCIS was probably when Caitlin Todd died. This scene proved that no matter who you are or where you are, anything can happen. What's worse about her death was that she was shot in her head and died instantly, so it wouldn't leave room for a miraculous return since it was a bullet she could not return from. It was revealed that it was actually Ari who was killed, which was extremely unexpected. Ari was on the loose until Ziva showed up at his place and killed him. The whole scene was super emotional, especially since Ziva is literally Ari's sister. Next on the list, when Gibbs was shot. Gibbs has had a lot of life or death moments in his life, but one moment in particular was when fans thought he was done for. This was during the finale of season 12 when his team went to Iraq. Gibbs ended up getting separated from them by accident and found a weird girl. He stupidly followed her, and that's when he was shot by one of the members of the Calling. What made things even worse was that it was the last episode of season 12, so we didn't know whether or not Gibbs survived. However, the next season started with Gibbs alive, but he had some pretty bad PTSD from the whole thing, to the point that he was a completely different person. This ended up being one of the most shocking moments in the history of NCIS. Now, we have the time when Gibbs loses his memory in season 3. During the finale of season 3, Gibbs ends up getting severely injured after an explosion on a ship. It was so bad that he fell into a coma. While he was in a coma, he started getting flashbacks from Operation Desert Storm from the day that he was injured. He also recalled some of his worst memories, like the time when his wife and 8-year-old daughter got murdered. When Gibbs woke up from his coma, he had literally no memory of anything that had happened after the year 1991. Gibbs couldn't even remember Dr. Ducky Mallard, who was his lifelong friend. Next on our list, when Emily died. FBI agent Tobias Fornell's daughter, Emily Fornell, was a character we saw a lot of during the series ever since season 4, and we had seen her literally grow up as a character. Slowly, she became part of the main plot and everyone loved her. That's why when she died in season 18, it felt like the writers took things a little too far. Emily ended up passing at a very young age because of drug addiction. It was really bad, since things finally looked like they were going well for Tobias and Emily after some pretty horrible things happened. But things only got worse for the FBI agent after his own daughter died. Next, we have the scene when it was revealed that Ziva was alive. During the finale of NCIS season 13, everyone just accepted that Ziva had died in a mortar explosion that Sahar Azam conducted, but her body was never actually found. Later, in season 16, there were a bunch of hints that Ziva was very well still alive. Despite this, it was extremely shocking when Ziva just casually came to Gibbs in his basement. She was actually really upset and told Gibbs that she was mad because Gibbs never tried to look for her, but she was always there when he needed her. Turns out she actually faked her death in order to run away from Sahar, but when she heard that Sahar was going after Gibbs, she decided to have hidden enough and went to protect him from the crazy woman. Up next, when the team split up in season 5, some of the most insane scenes of the show came from season 5, but one scene that really stood out was the one during episode 19. In this episode, Jenny Shepard died, and the team had to find out who killed Jenny. Gibbs comes to the conclusion that it was an assassin that Jenny had actually tried to kill many years ago. Gibbs ends up killing the assassin's lover, so she comes back for revenge. However, before she could do anything, Gibbs and Frank killed her and then burned down Jenny's entire house in order to cover up the fact that she was dead. The new director, Leon Vance, decides to split the team up as punishment for not being able to save Jenny. He moved McGee to cybercrime, sent Ziva back to Israel, and then gave Gibbs a whole new team that he could lead. Now, we have the time when Gibbs testified against Fornell. Gibbs and Fornell have always been friends all throughout the show, even though they share the same ex-wife. But they have fought quite a few times because of all the NCIS versus FBI thing. However, it was during season 15 when Gibbs had to make a decision that would completely end the friendship between him and Fornell. A man from an old case claimed that NCIS had falsely framed him for murder years ago. Later, it was revealed that while he was guilty, there was no evidence against him. So Fornell took it upon himself to tamper with the evidence. Gibbs had to testify against Fornell, which was extremely shocking considering they've been best friends for a long time. Lastly, the way Abby left the show. Even though everyone knew that Abby would be leaving NCIS, no one expected her to leave in the way she did. During the finale of season 15, Abby solved a case with Reeves, but when they decided to go home, Abby was suddenly shot by a mugger along with Reeves. While Abby was rushed to the hospital, Reeves died. It was revealed that the mugger was actually hired by a man that Abby put to jail years ago. After this horrifying experience, Abby decided to leave NCIS and go to London instead. She also started a charity that was something that Reeves always wanted to do. That's a wrap for today's video. Which of these scenes did you find the craziest? Make sure to let us know in the comments down below. As always, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and click the subscribe button for more videos like this one. We'll see you next time.